The coast of severed legs. Scientists have solved the mystery of sneakers with people's feet off the coast of Canada for many years. Shoes with the remains of human feet inside them have been found on the beaches of British Columbia. On the 20th of August, 2007, a 12-year-old girl noticed a blue and white men's 12-size sneakers on the beach of the island of Ged in British Columbia. She looked inside and found a sock. She looked inside the sock. There was a human foot. 6 days later, on the nearby island of Gabriola, a couple from Vancouver, enjoying a walk near the water, came across a black and white Reebok. There was another decomposing leg inside. It was also a male 12 size. Both legs clearly did not belong to the same person. Not only the shoes themselves were different, but both had the right foot. The police were stunned. 2 such finds in a short period of time is very suspicious, Harry Cox of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police told the correspondent. Find 1 leg. It's like 1,000,000 to 1, but find 2. Madness. The following year, residents of Canada found 5 more feet on the beaches. The discoveries have increased public fears, and rumors in the media have increased dramatically. Was there a serial killer on the loose? Shore of severed legs. This name was given to these regions. Over the next 12 years, a total of 15 leg limbs were washed ashore in the Vancouver Island area, a network of waterways called the Salish Sea. 6 more were found in Puget Sound, which is located across the border with the United States. With the exception of 1 foot in an old hiking boot, everyone else was wearing sneakers. The feet in sneakers have become famous, and even they have their own Wikipedia page. None of these terrible finds involved at least 1 defendant. The police had no leads and no way to find out where the leg came from. In Maurice, only 4 streams flow into this area, so severed legs can come from anywhere. Over the years, the police have been attacked with different versions of the appearance of mysterious feet on the shore. We've been getting suggestions about serial killers or containers of immigrants at the bottom of the ocean. There were versions about aliens, says Laura Azijan, a medical examiner from the British Columbia Coroner's Service. After each case, psychics called us and offered help. But it was possible to reveal the secret of feet on the beaches in a scientific way. First, we need to understand what happens to a dead body when it is in the water. Once in the water, the first actions of the corpse will either swim or sink. This is a surprisingly important step, because it will help determine what will happen next. The floating object will be carried away by winds and surface currents and may soon be brought ashore. Moreover, a floating body exposed to air will decompose differently than a sinking one, with consequences for its legs. If the body sinks quickly to the bottom, it is unlikely that the body will float, especially if it happens in a deep and cool reservoir, lake, ocean. Underwater, corpses decompose differently than on the surface. Some internal organs rot, and the skin, muscles and brain are saponified, turning into fat. In an environment with a lack of oxygen, adipose fat can persist for years or even centuries. And this is exactly what Yezijan saw on the found legs that she examined. They were covered with fatty tissue, which indicates that the corpses were drowning and remained underwater during decomposition. This could explain where the remains of the bodies were. They sank and remained at the bottom. But why did the feet separate from the bodies? To understand how legs go swimming without a body, we need to know how the human body can decompose underwater. In 2000, forensic scientist Gail Anderson from Simon Fraser University in Canada conducted research for the police to find out how quickly a murder victim decomposes in the ocean. Her team immersed only dead pigs in the Sea of Si. Ethical norms exclude the use of human bodies in such experiments, and watched what would happen to them. Her team threw the pig carcass into the water, and it quickly sank to 308 feet. What happened next was unpleasant. The pig carcass was quickly eaten by a large and uncontrollable crowd of shrimps, lobsters and crabs. Since then, Anderson has dumped more pigs even deeper into the Strait of Georgia, the main channel of the Salish Sea, and found that in some cases, cleaners can skeletonize a carcass in less than 4 days. So what about the legs? It turns out that underwater climbers, such as crustaceans, will bypass bones and other serious obstacles. They are primarily interested in soft tissues, for example, ligaments and cartilage, of which there are many in human ankles. It means that if the sea scavengers attacked the human body, they would quickly separate the feet from the legs. And, as Yezijan says, all the feet found were separated from their bodies by natural processes. Please don't call them severed legs. This wording means that someone cut them off, but it is not so. This wording means that someone cut them off, but it is not so. The police did not find any traces indicating that the feet had been cut off or chopped off. Moreover, sneakers made in the last decade or so will almost certainly float. Their soles are often made of a foamy material with a high content of air bubbles. Therefore, the sneaker pops up with a separated foot, so, we figured it out. But another question remains, why are so many feet found in these parts of Canada? Morris only has ideal conditions. Firstly, it is an unusually large and complex internal body of water that acts as a trap. Once something hits the water, it can be washed ashore in many places, but it's still within that sea. Secondly, easterly winds prevail here, so they bring things from the ocean, they push them into the sea. And finally, a lot of people die in these parts, walking on slippery rocks and rocks. All these factors, plus cold deep waters and a large number of fans, make the Salish Sea an ideal magnet for feet. At the moment, the police were able to identify 9 people by their feet, 5 more feet in British Columbia remain unidentified. The British Columbia Coroner's Service reports that none of the cases has so far been recognized as a homicide investigation. In some cases, it turned out that a person died as a result of an accident or committed suicide. In other cases, the circumstances were more vague.